Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Lauren Hardy, and I am your virtual wholesaling coach. But before I was a coach, I had a very, very rough start to this business. And in this video, I wanted to be real with you and tell you my real story of me getting started 9 years ago and how I didn't have like instant success. I all too often hear people tell these stories of, I just got started at wholesaling, a year ago after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and now I'm doing 100 deals a year. And I am here in this video to share with you that that was absolutely not my story. And it's okay if it's not yours. So in this video, I'm gonna be really real with you, and I'm gonna explain how I went from 3 deals a year to now averaging 55 or more deals a year. And what was the big choice that I made that took me from 3 to 55. And you might find in this video that you might relate with some of the things I'm saying, and you might need to hear this. You might need to hear the message that I am going to give you if you happen to be in a market that is similar than the market that I was in when I first got started. So listen up, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Started about 9 years ago, at least 9 years ago from the time filming this episode. It was 2012. And my full intention was I was gonna flip houses in my backyard. My backyard was Orange County, California. I'm born and raised in Orange County, and it's an amazing place to live. However, it is very, very expensive. It is one of the highest priced areas in the country. And at the time when I got started, it actually was an amazing time to be a house flipper because there was still a lot of seller distress. We were just coming out of the recession. So there were quite a few deals out there, and it was pretty easy to get a flip project that would make the returns that I needed to make. So at first I got started, and let's call it beginner's luck. A lot of it was luck and it was timing, okay? It was not like me being smart or brilliant or anything special. It was luck and it was timing. I got in at a time where there was a lot of seller distress post-recession, right? So I got in, I flipped a few homes my first year, killed it. I made enough money to quit my full-time job, and I had a full year's salary in my bank account by flipping a few homes my first year. It was awesome. But what happened was, in the next year, the market started heating up and more people were getting into investment real estate. More and more house flippers were getting out there. They were watching HGTV shows, and I was competing with a lot of people. And it started to get really, really difficult to find a deal in my market. I mean, it was crazy. I used to be able to find a deal by sending maybe 1,000 direct mail pieces. And now at this point, I was getting to where I was spending $10,000 in direct mail and still not getting a deal. And that's pretty unsettling. I mean, could you imagine spending $10,000 and you don't have a deal lined up? It was really, really terrifying, honestly. I started wondering, how am I going to keep going on like this? I mean, if I don't get a deal, I'm gonna have to go back to getting a full-time job. It was getting where it'd be 3-4 months between projects, between flip projects that I could find. And I couldn't sustain myself on that. So I sought out mentorship. I, looked everywhere for mentors, and I found mentors, but they were all in different states. Like, there was nobody that was in Southern California. They were all in these states where the average house price was way cheaper, right? So to give you some context, a lot of the coaching programs out there, the mentors that were teaching these coaching programs were in areas where the average house price was maybe $200,000 or below. And in Southern California at the time, it was like $600,000 and below. So we're just talking a completely different environment. And they didn't really know how to coach me. They were giving me advice like, well, just keep sending more direct mail out. And I'm going, well, wait, like, I'm just burning more and more money. what am I going to do if I don't find a deal and I never get paid back, right? So it was super, super scary, very terrifying time. So my big aha moment was I went to a seminar, and it was actually in Nashville, and it was taught by a couple people that they did business in Tennessee. They were doing, wholesaling and real estate investing in Tennessee. And there were other investors in that room, and no one was from a place like California. No one was from a place where the average house price was any more than, say, $200,000. And I look around this room, right? And at this point, I've been in the business 3 years, okay? And I look around the room, and there's like people are introducing themselves. I go around the room. They're like, hi, my name is like Jessica, and I just started 9 months ago, and I've already closed like 300 deals. And, then they go the next guy would be like, hey, what's up? I'm John, and I started about a year ago, and I've done 50 deals. And I'm just looking, I'm feeling so inferior, because by the time they get to me, I'm like, hey, I'm Lauren. I started 3 years ago, and I've flipped maybe 8 houses total. And I looked around going, God, what am I doing wrong? Like, I must be really dumb, or maybe it's because I have kids and I'm just too busy and I don't work hard enough because I'm so busy with my children. Like, I'm blaming myself this whole time. But what was amazing about that trip was I spent 3 days with these people. I had lunch with them. I hung out. I got to ask them a lot of questions, and I started inquiring. I started asking them really detailed questions like, how many hours do you work a day? How many offers do you have to make to get one deal? What is your average gross revenue on a deal? I was asking them really in-depth questions, and I was comparing it to me. So I would ask them a question like, well, how many seller leads do you need to get approximately to get a deal? And their answer would be like 10, maybe at most 20 seller leads to get one deal. Whereas for me in California, it was like 100. I had to talk to 100 sellers to get one deal. I was working way harder than all of these people in this room. And I go, oh my gosh, that was my aha moment. They were not smarter than me. They were not working harder than I was. They were just in easier markets. It was like a revelation. It was amazing to find out that really all this time, it wasn't me, it was the market I was in. And so that's why I'm here to share this story, because it was in that moment where I decided I need to go virtual. I need to figure out how to get out of this crazy high price market that's so competitive. Because honestly, the amount of work it took to do the business in Southern California, I could work less, even though I had to figure out how to do it out of state, and I had to jump through some hoops, going virtual. There's some hoops you got to jump through. There's some little extra steps you got to do. But my theory was that I can figure this out, and I can make going virtual easier than playing in my own backyard. And that was it. The decision was made. And I finally, once I actually took action and I went virtual and I just had those seller conversations in those territories, it was night and day. The sellers were so much nicer. They weren't acting like I was lowballing them. I didn't have to talk to as many sellers to get a deal. I started getting, the flow, the trickle of a pipeline. Like, I could finally feel what a pipeline felt like, where I always had a deal closing at least every couple weeks, at least once a month. I wouldn't go even a month without having a deal. It was an amazing feeling, and I was finally able to sleep well at night. So like, some people would then argue with me. They'd say, oh, well, if you do a deal in California, the price or the gross revenue that you get on that deal is going to be so much more, than if you were, say, in Oklahoma. And I was like, yes, but I can make that up in volume very easy. And it ended up where I started closing a deal a week. So yeah, maybe, 5 deals in Oklahoma is equal to 1 deal in California, but I was closing 5 deals a month now in Oklahoma. And in California, I was still going like 1 deal a quarter. So tell me who's doing better. And I'm happier, I can sleep well at night. I think there is a difference between elephant hunting and squirrel hunting. I call this elephant hunting and squirrel hunting, where hunting for elephants is like California. When you get one, It's big. Sorry if you guys are like animal lovers. This is just an analogy, PETA. But like, when you get a deal in California, it's an elephant. It's huge. It's going to, net you like 60 grand or more maybe, but they're harder to come by. Where, squirrels, they're everywhere. It's easier to catch them. And that was me in a Midwestern market, a sub 200,000 market. And honestly, I did better in that type of market psychologically. I think when you're deciding between elephant hunting and squirrel hunting, so if you're deciding, should I stay in my backyard where the deals are bigger versus going virtual and maybe going where there's more volume, you need to ask yourself, like, what is your lifestyle like? Me personally, I'm a single mom, 2 kids. I can't go 3 months without getting a check. I will have an anxiety attack. I have mouths to feed. So, but if maybe you don't have kids, maybe you're, able to take more risks, you have low overhead expenses, maybe elephant hunting is more suited for your personality, and that's totally fine. Going virtual isn't for everybody. Some people are perfectly fine in their backyard. I do get people arguing with me that, California is awesome for me. But again, it's all about the type of person you are, your needs, your psychology. And for me going virtual was the better choice for the type of person I am in my lifestyle. And it was the best decision I personally ever made. So if you are listening to this and you're like, man, I'm doing everything and it's not working. I'm doing all the things that the coaches say to do, but it's not working. I want you to look at your market you're in, and I want you to go on Zillow and just type in average house price of the county you're in. And if it's above 200,000, I'm gonna tell you there is a difference in the seller conversation. It's a different animal. If you're above 500,000, way different animal, okay? Like way different. So, but I'm even giving it to you like above 200,000 at the time of filming this video, right? If you are under 200,000, it is gonna be an easier market for you to work this wholesaling business, right? So for me personally, going virtual made a lot of sense. And, if you're listening to this and you resonate with this video, I'm just glad that I've been able to share this message and share my story. It wasn't always easy for me. I had 3 years of a market like Southern California, and I was trying to make it work, and I was banging my head against the wall because I would listen to these podcasts. I would listen to Bigger Pockets and Wholesaling Inc, and I would hear these other people in these other markets just killing it, doing 100+ deals a year. And I thought, gosh, why am I struggling just to do 5? So that was it. I mean, after I went virtual, literally the first year I went virtual, it was a complete relief. By the time it was my first year, I did around 35 deals. By the time my second year was up going virtual, I was at 55 deals. It was, complete game changer, and we've never done less since then. So it really was the best decision for me. And, it's everybody's personal choice. But if you do want to learn more about virtual wholesaling, keep staying on this channel. I am obsessed with the concept, and I've got a coaching program. If you want to learn more about that, go to virtualinvestingmastery.com. If you want some free stuff, I go to laurenhardyco.com. I've got a free seller script. It's the same script I use to talk to sellers virtually. And I've got a free wholesaling mini course if you want to check that out too. So guys, thank you so much for, listening, and I'll see you guys next time.